All right, today we're tackling a big one. We're going to solve a puzzle, and it all starts on a seemingly simple farm in Nigeria. But believe me, this little story holds a massive key to understanding success and failure.
I mean, it's a question that drives us all crazy, right? Why do some projects just work, while others seem doomed from the start? You can pour everything you have into something, and it just mysteriously fails. But what if the reason isn't some huge, flashy disaster?
What if it's something quieter? Something hiding in plain sight, in the one place nobody ever thinks to look?
So, let's head to our setting, a farm in Nigeria. On the surface, things look pretty good. The crops are growing, it seems like it should be thriving, but it isn't. Something's just off. And that, right there, is our farm puzzle.
And you know, every good puzzle needs someone to solve it. Enter our hero, Ada. She's a sharp student who's come to help her grandfather on his farm. And the thing about Ada is, she's got this knack for seeing the little things, the details everyone else just walks right past.
So, while her grandfather is, rightly focused on the crops, the yam, the maize, Ada starts to notice something else. She sees that the real story isn't just about what's growing in the fields. It's about the buildings, the infrastructure, the very bones of the farm that are starting to show cracks. Okay, so to get to the bottom of this, Ada knows she has to break it down. She needs to understand all the pieces of the puzzle. So she zeroes in on 5 key structures on the farm. Let's walk through them, just like she did. First, you've got the barn. Pretty straightforward, right? This is like the farm's garage and supply closet, all in one. It's where you keep the really important stuff, the big ticket items like the tractor and fertilizer. Then there's the coop. This is where the chickens live. And it's got to be secure, because out here you've got predators like civet cats. A weak coop isn't just a minor problem. It's a direct threat to your livestock and ultimately your profits. All right, next up is the silo. You can't miss it. That big, tall tower. Think of this as the farm's bank vault. It's where all the profit from the harvest, all that maize and sorghum, gets stored. It's literally the farm's future. And finally, the paddock. This is just a fenced-in area where the animals can graze safely. A strong fence means your animals stay where they're supposed to be, safe and sound. So, Ada's got her list of key structures. She starts her inspection. And what does she find? Well, she finds a whole lot of wahala. That's a great Nigerian word that basically means trouble. And the thing is, this isn't just one problem. It's trouble everywhere she looks.
Okay, so check this out. This is basically Ada's inspection report, her case file. The barn door, it's literally hanging off its hinges, leaving that expensive tractor totally exposed. The silo, it has a small leak, but over time, that's going to ruin the entire grain supply. The chicken coop wire is loose, an open invitation for predators, and a fence post in the paddock is wobbly. Every single one of these is a ticking time bomb. And here's where it all clicks into place. This is the heart of the puzzle. The farm isn't just a collection of buildings, it's a system. Everything depends on everything else. Think about it. You need the tractor from that broken barn to harvest the grain that's going into the leaky silo. One broken link, and the whole chain can snap. But here's the kicker, and this is where it gets real. Her grandfather isn't made of money. He doesn't have endless time or resources to fix everything all at once. So now Ada faces the real challenge. It's not just about finding problems, it's about figuring out what to do about them. This is the moment Ada has to stop thinking like just an inspector and start thinking like a manager. It's not enough to have a list of broken things. She has to make a tough call. She has to figure out which one of these problems, which piece of wahala is the biggest threat, the one that could cause a total collapse. Okay, so now I'm putting you in the driver's seat. You're the inspector now. You've seen the evidence, you know the risks. What do you do? What's your call? Which problem do you tackle first? Let's really focus on the big 3. Case A, the leaky silo roof. That's a slow burn, but it could ruin the entire harvest. Case B, the broken barn door. That's an immediate risk to your most expensive gear. Or Case C, the loose paddock fence. You could lose an animal today. What's it going to be? All right, after thinking through all the options, Ada makes her choice, the barn door.
So, why the barn door? It's simple, but it's brilliant. You have to protect your most valuable, most critical assets first. That tractor, those tools, the fertilizer, they weren't just things sitting in a barn. They were the engine of the whole operation. Without them, you can't plant, you can't harvest, you can't do anything else.
And just like that, with one smart strategic decision,
Ada does more than just fix a broken door. She sets the entire farm back on the right track.
And that's the big takeaway here. The lesson that applies to, well, everything. It doesn't matter if you're running a farm, a company, or just managing your own life. Success isn't about frantically fixing every little problem. It's about figuring out what your engine is, the most critical part of your operation, and protecting that above all else.
So let's break down Ada's method because you can use this anywhere. Step 1, inspect. Take a hard look at all your core systems. Step 2, identify. Write down every problem you see, big or small. Step 3, and this is the most important, prioritize. Figure out which problem is the biggest threat to your most crucial assets. And finally, step 4, maintain. Fix that number 1 priority and then make a plan for everything else.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Think about your own world, your job, your projects, your life. What's your broken barn door? What's that one critical thing you've been neglecting that, if it fails, could bring the whole thing crashing down? That's your farm puzzle to solve.